Hello everyone, and welcome to a long-delayed episode of The G.A.P. I'm your host, Matt, aka Legion Rex, and today is going to be a little bit different because of situations and circumstances that were out of my control. My show co-host Shane is here, but only for one section. He's going to be here for the via archive audio in the section where we talk about our featured anime of the podcast. I'll explain more in detail in a little bit. But also with me, I have our guests today. With me, I have Spencer. How are you doing today, Spencer?
I'm doing good. Aside from the whole technical snafu that happened, I feel like maybe we can, spice this up a little bit, give them something different.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting experiment. Maybe hopefully this works. And also with me, I have somebody who is brand new to the podcast, brand new to anime in general, and I hope that he becomes a recurring guest on the podcast at some point. It's Adam.
Hello.
How are you doing today, Adam?
There is 7 hours and 37 minutes until the new Kane album. I'm dating this episode. Well, this part of the episode, whatever we're doing. I don't care.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, you're dating
to the 6 viewers what's going on here.
You're dating the re-record of the audio for the episode.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're dating okay, so what happened was the original version of this podcast was recorded around 2 weeks ago on May 11th. That's when it was recorded. And we were in it was May 18th. Okay, it was a couple weeks ago. And everything was fine until it wasn't fine. And then it turns out my audio got corrupted. And I don't know how it happened. Some bullshit, stupid computer nonsense. The audio was I was unable to save the audio. So essentially we have to re-record the episode. Not in its entirety, but at least the majority of it. So the majority of the podcast you are currently listening to is a re-recorded archived podcast that was going up the same day as the full length episode that you'll see on which is episode 10. Now hopefully this goes well, and I'm pretty sure it will, because Shane's audio, everyone else's audio was completely intact. So in essence, what you're about to be listening to is either going to be you're not going to be able to not going to be able to tell that it's an amalgamation, or it's going to be a Frankenstein monster and be completely garbage. Otherwise, this episode is out, and I hope you enjoy it nevertheless. So, with that PSA out of the way, let's get started with our normal structure. So, Spencer,
yes.
What have you been watching recently in terms of simulcasts?
Recently I've been watching, and it's changed ironically because I caught up on all stuff. I've been watching Dances with the Dragons.
We're gonna go more.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go more into detail about it on the next episode. But let's briefly go over it so that way.
Briefly, I've been watching Dances with the Dragons. I've been watching Magical Girl Ore, and I've been watching Comic Girls. Those are the three I've been caught up on. Dances with the Dragons continues to, in my opinion, actually be a good show. Definitely won't be a 10 at this point. The highest they can get, if it sticks the landing, will be an 8. It's actually good. The dub's out if you want to watch the dub. Magical Girl Ore is in the home stretch, and oh boy, is it getting great.
Nice.
And Comic Girls continues to do what Comic Girls does best, and basically just be adorable. And My Hero's My Hero, and Adam will probably talk more about My Hero.
Yeah, we'll talk about My Hero in a bit, but let's Spencer, I actually want to talk about with you one specific show in particular. I want to talk about Kitaro. And
let's talk about Gigi no Kitaro.
I want to talk about Kitaro because I want because it's the show. I think it's the show that this season I had no interest in Kitaro before before I watched the first episode. Like, I had no interest in watching it. But I will admit there have been times in my life that I've been very wrong. This is one of those times. This is a great show. Kitaro is pretty fantastic across the board so far. I think, and I think Spencer will agree with me here that the show. I don't know if the show can hold 50 plus episodes like they're planning, but as of right now, the show is pretty consistently great.
There's, like you said, some people like you might have found that the last episode was kind of eh. I thought the concept was interesting, but also, yeah, it was kind of meh. But this could definitely hold its own for 12 episodes. It could definitely hold its own for 25. But once you get past the 25 to 30 episode mark, I really want this anime to do really good because it's outstanding in what it does.
It does. I do think that they played it smart in the early episodes. They do have what looks like an overarching like plot at the very least that reaps its head every once in a while. So I do think that it does have the chance to actually like be longer, like 50 plus episodes if they pace it correctly. Which so far I have no problems with anything. Plus, the thing is that the show is so mired in creativity and there's so much like passion put into it.
This anime made me cry.
There's a lot of things that make you cry.
Yeah. Yes, but
keep in mind, Spencer will cry at like anything, so this should not.
See,
be taken.
no, like okay, I'll agree with movies, but in anime, I actually don't cry that much. But episode 6 was a genuine emotional gut punch tearjerker. And it was legitimately outstanding. And then it was followed by arguably an equal pace but different toned episode which was more horror based. Like Kitaro's.
That's my favorite one.
Episode 7?
Thinking about it, I think episode 7 might be my favorite. Like, like a lesser show would not pull the balls that this episode did. That episode's fucking scary, dude. That's a legitimately scary episode.
That episode
like,
was
one of those.
Yeah, it was legitimately
genuinely spooky, and I think overall, 6 and 7 might be my favorite episodes of Kitaro so far. It's a toss up.
It's a
Both
coin
are
flip.
Really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
They do emotional stuff really well, and they do the scary ghost stuff really well.
Yeah.
And again, there's other stuff this season. We'll go more into some of the other stuff
tomorrow.
Next
episode.
Because we're gonna go into Darling.
Oh God.
That's the sad, tragic fate of Darling. We'll get into that next episode. We'll get back in next episode. But I want to talk about some My Hero with Adam.
Adam, this is your time to shine.
Oh boy,
My Hero.
Before we talk about My Hero, I should let the viewers, however many there are going to be here, that I am an anime expert. I have watched all the anime. I've watched Cory in the House. I've watched Pokemon. I've watched Drake and Josh. I've watched all the anime.
Yes, you've watched them all.
Anime,
even some obscure ones like That's So Raven.
Exactly, yeah. I've seen maybe Zoe 101. That's not the best, but it's still up there. But no, in all seriousness, My Hero, and especially Season 2, that's probably some of the most entertaining entertainment I've seen in a long time. Like, there's certain, things I put on pillars of what is great. There's, Mad Max, and there's at least Fury Road. There's, Halo and all that stuff. And in the anime corner, there is One Punch, and there's My Hero Season 2, and hopefully My Hero Season 3.
So far, it's been that good. So far, Season 3 has been that good. Yeah, it's been really fucking great.
It's been something very special.
I've found myself falling behind because I'm a loser and I'm disgraceful to the entire country of Japan. But, the parts I've seen, they're all spectacular. Like, I'm fully hooked. I like the characters. They do such a good job of writing the characters that even with limited screen time, you still understand their motivations and you still like them. And That's not an easy thing to do. It sounds easy, but doing that balancing act with like 20 plus characters is incredibly tough. Not that I would know, but I'd know. Because I'm bad at writing.
I think one of the best things about My Hero, like you said, is how they balance characters. But at the same time, like, I think one of the things about it is that I think separates it from a lot of other shonen of its like, is the fact that, unlike other shonen characters, is that they spend a lot of time giving you, like, they spend a lot of time on on like shonen. What they always like the big, powerful godlike battles and like the power-ups and stuff. My Hero doesn't necessarily do all that. I mean, yes, characters do get more powerful, obviously, but like it feels more like a natural progression of abilities than it does like, oh, now I have some power-up out of my ass to fucking defeat the ultra-powerful villain. And here it's more like, when characters go past their limits like they normally do, it fucks them up, and the show makes it a repeated attempt to tell the audience that, yeah, the things that these characters are doing, then it's not good. They shouldn't be doing half of this shit. And I appreciate that the show has the bluntness to like just sometimes say like, yeah, the character's fucked now, congratulations.
Yeah. What My Hero does incredibly well is exactly that. Is it gives actual stakes to what these people do. Like, Deku fucks up his arms and his legs every time he uses his quirk, because he can't control it. Ida can use his reciprocal burst, but it burns his engines. It fucks with his legs. So, like, everybody that does things has an actual, like, they could be super powerful, but there's an equally powerful negative, like Tokoyami in his shadow.
Fucking the show's just great overall, and I'm I'm really happy that that manga's being adapted as well as it is. And let us hope that Bones keeps doing that for like the infinite number of seasons that it's probably going to get.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
if for whatever reason you haven't seen My Hero, watch it. It's very good. You're gonna enjoy yourself, and you're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, it is.
You can.
It is very, very, very good.
You can take an anime expert's word on that. The dude who's watched approximately 9 actual animes in his life.
The anime expert Adam.
Yes.
That is good. That is going to be Adam's role now
no,
in the
absolutely
podcast.
Not.
He will be the anime expert.
I'm the communist guy. That's what I am.
The communist guy. All right. That works just as well. All right. So, and with that, we're pretty much done talking about the simulcast stuff. Again, not much to talk about. We're in the middle of the season, so unless there's some game changer of an episode in a show, not really much to talk about outside of the standard stuff. So we got some news stories we want to cover. This is we got 3 news stories from a couple weeks ago that we want to discuss with us. Just a second, I'll be back. Yeah.
Amateurs, Spencer. Amateurs.
No, I have stuff to do.
I know.
I apologize for that. That will be cut.
Yeah, me and Spencer were complimenting you behind your back, and we weren't calling you an amateur in the slightest.
He totally weren't.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, alright, no, okay, and, alright. So we have some, news stories that from a couple weeks ago that we're gonna cover. The first one is involving a little little known franchise, you may not have heard of it. It's called Digimon.
What's a Digimon?
What is a Digimon? Is it a Pokemon?
Is it a digital monster?
No, but the final Digimon Adventure Tri-film premiered in Japan from about a couple weeks ago, and of course, with the end of one series must come the beginning of another. And the official Twitter account, the Digimon Adventure Tri Anime Film Project, announced that a new project in the Digimon franchise will begin sometime in the near future. The account tweeted an image of Agumon and the text, "The adventure evolves again. A new project starts." No other word has been said on what exactly this is. Is it a sequel to Tri? Is it a brand new Digimon series in the vein in the classic vein of the previous shows? Is it the highly rumored sequel to Tamers that has been floating around for recently? Who knows what the fuck it is?
Is it going to be
Spencer,
the
you're
dark
the only one out here
reboot of Digimon?
The dark and gritty reboot of Digimon. That was Tamers.
Yeah, that's called
so
Tamers.
That already exists.
I don't watch Digimon. I'm a Pokemon guy. Don't come at me with that
so
Digimon
obviously
nonsense.
Spencer and I are the only two people in the universe right now who care about Digimon.
No, there's a couple others.
so
We call them
Spencer-
ninjas.
You can be
So
nicer.
Spencer,
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
Spencer, have you seen Digimon Adventure Tri? To give you so we can give some context to the wonderful people listening. Have you seen Digimon Adventure Tri?
I have not seen Adventure Try. I've seen fucking everything up to it, but I've yet to finish Try.
Yeah, it's not done yet over here, so pretty much so that's why you haven't finished it, but I've seen it. But all you need to know is that it's pretty much a sequel to the first season that ignores the garbage second season. That's all you need to know about it. But Spencer, I want your take on this because I want you the thing I want to focus on is that there's rumors going around that it might be because there's been rumors that a sequel to Tamers has been going to happen for years, and that there's rumors that this one might be it. Spencer, would you want a sequel to Tamers?
Long and short, yes. I would love a sequel to Tamers. Tamers is actually one of my, if not my favorite season or series they've done.
Same.
Adam was talking about the whole dark and gritty Digimon, and Tamers was the dark and gritty Digimon. It took a lot of the themes and kind of made them more adult and expanded upon them. And this sequel's been in the works for a while, and all the headlines and all the quiet under-speakings of the Digimon community. And frankly, if it was a Tamers sequel, I would be incredibly excited and very, very happy. I mean, right now, I give it like a 45% chance of it being a sequel to Tamers. But
I mean, Agumon is in the fucking logo.
Exactly.
And so like it's either a sequel to Tri or it's Tamers. It can't be anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So or they're trolling us. That could also be a possibility.
That could also be
Who knows? Maybe it's a sequel to Fusion. And if it is a sequel to Fusion, ew.
Yeah, that's why when you get my audio, I very quietly go up to the microphone and just go, ugh.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, but yeah, that's happening. Digimon is like did Pokemon, and that's a franchise that just doesn't die. So like we're gonna see Digimon stuff until the day of our inevitable demise. So we're just gonna have to wait and see about that. In other news, just a second, fucking hell. Yeah.
Amateurs.
Cut.
Okay.
We're cutting all this shit. Let's go scoop de whoop. Poop de scoop de whoop. Whoop de scoop.
I told my parents to shut up, so now they won't bother me. Right. Okay, so let's try this again.
And action.
In other news, news that I'm pretty sure Adam would appreciate far more than Digimon news, Viz Media has licensed One Punch Man Season 2 for release in North America. Viz Media announced on Wednesday that it has acquired the master license to the upcoming second anime season based on One and Yusuke Murata's One Punch Man manga. The license covers digital streaming, TV broadcast, electronic sell-through, home media, and merchandising rights throughout North America, Latin America, and Oceania. We have the director for several episodes of Naruto Shippuden, also best known for the fights between Kakashi and Obito and Naruto and Sasuke, will be directing the season of One Punch Man at JC staff as opposed to Madhouse. But outside of that, the rest of the staff and cast will be returning for the season. So, Adam, tell the wonderful people at home how you feel about One Punch Man.
I'm very excited for the next season because the first season was I don't know what other adjectives to use to describe it besides amazing, but and you've heard everyone else give it a 9 or a 10 if you're this far into anime YouTube. You've probably seen all the reviews about One Punch Man. You've seen everyone telling you to go watch One Punch Man, and so you've probably come with the conclusion that One Punch Man's a very, very good show. So I really don't have to remind you.
One Punch Man is...
Yeah, so I don't have to remind you that One Punch Man is a good show, because you already know that. But I'm dumb, I don't watch anime, so this is good news for me, because One Punch Man was fantastic. It was like the third or fourth thing I watched when I finally got into anime. I'm gonna tell the story, if you don't mind now, how I got into this stupid world called anime.
Tell me how you became a weeb.
So I became a man obsessed with the Tokugawa shogunate after a severely crippling depression-related episode brought on by Tom Brady. We can blame Tom Brady. Touchdown Tom Brady. We counted him out once again. I counted him out at least. And then he broke my heart and beat the Jaguars, who aren't even my team, in the AFC finals in like January. And I was sad enough to be like, someone give me something to watch. I'm very sad. I need help. So people are like, watch Violet Evergarden. And people weren't like that. I was like that because Matt was watching it and he said it's very good. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch it. And me watching Violet Evergarden took me on a path that brought me to Bakuno, which was what Spencer recommended, which then brought me to, obviously One Punch Man and Attack on Titan, all the mainstream stuff. And it eventually brought me to here, where I'm talking about anime on a podcast, which is the ultimate weeb thing.
This is also this is a big first for you. This is your first subbed anime.
Yeah, not One Punch, but the Blast of Tempest, or this.
We'll get into we'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah.
But the good thing is about this is that One Punch Man the season 2 is finally happening, and from what I understand, the first episode will be premiering at a Japanese event in August, like at a con. So the first episode is pretty much done, which means season 2 is probably more than halfway into production, which means that it's pretty much almost done. So it will be airing very, very soon, and which means that we should be able to get it. My only worry is that One Punch Man was not on Netflix or Crunchyroll when it originally premiered. It was on Daisuke, which no longer exists. So either One Punch Man is going to be moving over to Crunchyroll, which I think is the more likely possibility, or, and here's what I actually think is going to happen, what I might think also happen, and I don't want this to happen. It's going to be exclusive. They're going to wait until it's done in Japan and then put it on Netflix. Which, I don't want that, because I want One Punch. So, in any case, though, we are going to get it. which is good.
Yep, and it's being licensed by Viz, and Viz licenses good stuff, so...
Yeah, they got the first season, so they got the first season a while back, so this is not so it's kind of expected they get it, but it's good to know that they actually do have it now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the next story that we're gonna be covering is going to be something about is going to be Dragon Ball related. So we'll bring in Shane from the grave to talk about it through the power of archive audio. But before we do that, let's cover the actual story itself. If you need more Dragon Ball in life, then you can look forward to this July. In just a couple of months, the franchise will make a rather unexpected comeback as a super short anime spin-off will go live. Toei Animation is slated to release a new anime titled Dragon Ball Heroes, and the very first synopsis of the show has been released. And for a basic and too long didn't read rundown, the show is a what-if story involving several characters from across the Dragon Ball timeline, and it's going to be an anime promoting the upcoming mobile game Dragon Ball Heroes. Alright, so Shane, from the grave itself, what do you think of Dragon Ball Heroes, and what are you expecting from it?
Here's the thing. Like, the whole deal with Dragon Ball Heroes is what Matt says, a huge what-if scenario. So you can literally do anything in this universe, and it makes sense. Because the whole point is that it doesn't make sense. Here's the thing, if you've ever seen the Heroes cutscenes on YouTube, that's basically just going to be this show, and I can't wait to watch SS4 Broly fight Super Ultra Instinct Gogeta in the final climactic battle against Golden Mecha Frieza.
Alright, what insightful opinions from beyond the grave Shane has given us.
From what
So,
I'm
Spencer,
gathering,
you know a little bit about Dragon Ball,
I do.
right?
I watched all of the original.
All the original. None of Z. None of anything else.
Nope. But I've watched all of the original.
Are you going to be watching this?
Probably. I mean, I'm a pretty big fan of what-if scenarios. So, you give me that, you give me like a bunch of Dragon Ball characters that I can point at and go, oh, look, it's him, or her, or them. I'm all for it.
I mean, you get to see Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 4 Goku again, which is nice, and you get to see Golden Cooler.
Was Super Saiyan 4 Goku, that was the red one, right, from GT?
That was the one in G, yeah, the one that was like mix of like Osaru and had like the more the monkey aspects from early Dragon Ball. Yeah, it's that.
I'm excited.
One. So he'll be back, and as Golden Cooler too.
Well, Cooler is Frieza's brother?
His non-canon brother, yeah.
Okay.
Who doesn't actually exist in the canon, but he was in 2 movies, so people like him for some reason. So, Adam does not give 2 shits about Dragon Ball.
No, from what I'm able to gather, it's either Dragon Ball Fighter Z, the anime, or it's Dragon Ball Fortnite. That's it.
Dragon Ball Fortnite. It's pretty much Dragon Ball Fortnite.
That sounds like an interesting concept that I will not watch because Dragon Ball is like whatever to me. All I've seen of it is the abridged series, so that's all you need to know about me and Dragon Ball. I might give it a shot though if people say it's good, because
I mean it is good.
So, I mean like the new series, not the old series. There's 18 trillion old episodes they got to go back and watch to get that. So I'll just watch the new series because I can ask Shane who the fuck is who. I'm like, who's this dude with the pink hair? Be like, oh, that's whoever he is. I don't know who he is, but Shane would know who he is because Shane knows what Dragon Ball is, and I don't. But whatever, we'll see what happens.
The guy with the pink hair, by the way, is Goku Black. That is his Super Saiyan Rosé form.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Ball is really stupid. That's all you need to know. Okay, so, and with that, we are done all of the news stories that we wish to cover today. And with that, we're going to be moving on to our featured anime of the podcast. It is one that we got via the randomizer, and it shows that the randomizer is they're not always bad. It's not always bad.
It's not always Nakaimo.
It's not. It's not always Nakaimo. Does not always give us garbage. It is a. It is an. It is the action, mystery, psychological drama, magic, fantasy, shonen anime. And yes, it has all those genres attached to it. Blast of Tempest, directed by Masahiro Ando and written by Mari Okuda. Created by Studio Bones. It aired for 24 episodes from October 5th, 2012 and to March 29th, 2013. It is currently licensed by Anyplace of America, and you can watch it through the links in the description on Crunchyroll for free. You do not need an account to watch it. It is completely 100% free for all viewers to watch. So, with that being said, we're gonna start with Spencer here. Spencer, what are your thoughts on Blast of Tempest?
My thoughts on Blast of Tempest, as a huge fan of Shakespeare, and this show likes Shakespeare as much as I do. Particularly, it likes the plays of The Tempest and Hamlet. This anime is not for everybody, obviously. I'm going to put that out there right now. This anime is not for everybody. If you don't like Shakespeare and you don't like Shakespearean plots and tragedy/comedy, then you're not going to like this anime. Like, that's simple. However, if you can get past that and take the story for what it is, it's such an interesting story that once you get to like episode 10 to 12, it just starts to enter Swerve Town, and it never looks back from Swerve Town. It's a genuinely good anime that, if it wasn't for the randomizer, I probably would never realize existed.
Yeah, same. So, Adam, this is the first sub-anime you have seen. What was your thoughts on Blast of Tempest as soon as you finished it?
It's a show that is in Japanese now. It was started really slow. Like the first 7 episodes, there's got to be a disclaimer that the first 7 episodes are going to be slow, with the exception of a couple fight scenes in between, which are very good. But episodes 8 to 12 kind of make the show, basically, because it's 3 dudes. They're standing on a hill. One of them has the high ground, like Obi-Wan, and they're just talking about stuff. And it's just talking, and it's them trying to outsmart each other. And it's great. It's gripping. It's like, how did you make 7 episodes of just that, and that you made this in 4 episodes? And then everything after that it's really good too. So episodes 1 to 7 with the fight scene between I completely forgot their names. This was like 3 weeks ago, but
Mahito and Hanamura,
yeah,
I think
what Matt said.
was it?
Listen to him.
Yeah,
he's smart.
guy.
I'm an idiot, but that scene was really good, and the 8 episodes 8 to 12 really good, and everything after 13's great too. Yeah, it's really good. The last episodes are great. The second half for the Shreetons is definitely a lot stronger than the first half, but overall, it's really good. The problem is, it needs a very long runway to take off. That's my plain metaphor.
Alright. And we're gonna bring Shane back from the grave for this little segment here.
Resurrection magic.
We're gonna be bring him back from the grave. So Shane, what did you think of Blast of Tempest after you first watched it?
Well, unlike Adam, I was more like Spencer. I was interested in the show from the beginning, because I didn't feel like everything before that chunk of episodes around episode 8 was a drag. It actually got me interested in the show and the characters, mostly due to the presentation, because fucking, like, the animation and the music and all that shit is just freaking stellar. I agree with Adam that, to me, the Shakespeare crap comes off very pretentious. and this is coming from a guy who really has zero interest in Shakespeare, unlike literally everyone else in this group right now. So, I agree with Adam, when a character just blurts out a fucking quote from Hamlet, and then another character's like, Hamlet again, I'm like, yeah, that's how I feel, show. That's how I feel right now.
Thank you for that wonderful insight. Next up, we're gonna be with that, we're gonna be going into our standard segments of what we're gonna be talking about. Like our favorite characters, favorite episodes. Let's start with our favorite characters here. Spencer, who was your favorite character on the show?
My favorite character in Blast of Tempest would be... Oh, that's the roots. Not Mahiro, the other one.
Yoshino?
Yoshino?
Wait. Yes.
Yes, Yoshino.
Yes. Yoshino's my favorite character. Because he's kind of like your oh my god, your fucking Christ, what's the guy from... Man,
Spencer.
I can't...
Horatio?
Thank you, I can't do this! I'm supposed to be the Shakespeare guy, and I forgot Horatio's name!
Yeah.
Ah!
Spencer, you are now listening to, on the podcast, Spencer's slow mental break.
We are in the closing
okay.
stages of Meltdown May. We have had a great month, and what has to end, it will end with Spencer.
It is May... Yeah, it's May 31st. Trust us, we have not had a good month.
No, it's been great. It's been a spectacular month.
Meant down this.
Okay, bada bing, bada boom. Anyways, Yoshino Takagawa.
He's the realest guy in the room.
He's the realest guy in the room. How you doing? Yeah, he's like the Horatio, which is like Hamlet's best friend, closest confidant. Except he is more of the thinky to Mahiro's punchy. Throughout the entire anime, you have Yoshino, who starts as a to be perfectly honest, boring character. He has a love thing with Aika, who is Mahiro's quote-unquote sister, quote-unquote stepsister. But aside from that, he's interesting, but he's not as interesting as Mahiro. But once you get to episode 19?
It is episode 19, yes.
Can't believe I remember this stuff. Yeah, once you get to episode 19, he absolutely changes face. Because episode 19, everything is brought to light. Because you have this character that throughout everything is kind of just thinking about different ways to solve this problem. While Mahiro is so focused on Aika and her death, Yoshino's like, no, I'm going to think. And one scene in, actually it's episode 18, I was one off, completely makes his character where he's just allowed to show emotion and just be a person. And it's such a breath of fresh air in anime to see that moment captured so incredibly well. And that's why Yoshino is my favorite character.
Well said. Adam, who is your favorite character in Blast of Tempest?
My favorite is Hanamura. I think I'm saying his name right. Yeah, it's Hanamura.
Yes, you are.
He is... Yeah, he's initially introduced in the second half of the season, or the show basically. So there's only one season, even though there should have been two. But for a character who was only in half of the season, he's doubly good compared to the rest, at least in my opinion, because he's kind of like the chosen one, except he's definitely not ready to be the chosen one. He's like, I'm kind of spoiling the show, but I'm not spoiling the show because it's like, oh, it's episode 15 or whatever it is that he gets told he's like the chosen one, but he is extremely not ready, both physically and mentally and emotionally, and he's very much like me if I were suddenly told I had special secret powers that were meant to save the world, and now I gotta save the world from an evil tree that wants to take over the world and do things with the world. Evil tree things, I think. I don't know what the tree's motivation was, but yeah, that's
It exists.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
We'll get into the tree's We'll get into the tree's stuff later, because that's
bad.
yeah.
It's
So
not good.
yeah, so it's not good.
Mm-mm.
But Hanamura is a great character. So he is a very, very, very fun character to be around.
Hanamura is a fun character in which he's like exactly what Adam was talking about, where he's like these powers are thrust upon him until he gets sick and tired of hearing Yoshino and Mahiro just accept fate. That he basically he almost murders Yoshino, and he fucking throws Mahiro into a goddamn desk. Like, he just snaps and has like these super strength, and he's like, "Will you just shut up, both of you, and just change your fate?"
Hanamura is a metaphor for all of the high school students who are forced to read Shakespeare in class.
That's me.
Because they're just looking at all the characters, going like, "Just do something else. Just stop."
Othello is like, "Just talk to her. Talk to Desdemona. The story's over. Iago loses."
But yeah, my personal favorite character of the show is none other than the best girl in the show, Hakaze.
Hakaze,
Of course it would be.
Who's also the leader, the leader of the Kurosabe clan and the magician and the magician of Genesis. I love this character, not just because she is best girl, which she is, but but one of the things I love about Hakaze is that she I think is that she goes through like the largest development of for most of the cast. Her character goes from being kind of this slightly arrogant, kind of self-centered, like princess who believes that she is like always 100% in the right, to this. To trying to adapt to being just a normal teenage girl. For all her life, she was basically revered by this clan, and then suddenly now she's thrust into a situation where she's not that, and it's interesting to see how her character deals with that. And it also helps that she is based on one of my all-time favorite Shakespeare characters, and that's Prospero.
Mm-hmm.
Tempest. I love Prospero, and while her character is vastly different from Prospero, she embodies some of the more similar traits. She's a mage. She's kind of she's arrogant. She's stuck on an island for one half of the show. She's stuck on an island for half the show, and I do find it very, 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 very fascinating from a writing level, and how they were able to give her a lot of development, the same amount of development, while also have her basically stuck in one place for like half the series. But yeah, overall, I just really, really like Hakaze as a character, and I'm pretty sure Shane would agree with us.
Hakaze, moving on.
Yeah, see, Shane agrees with me. Hakaze is the best character in the series. But I think we can all agree. I don't think we need Shane for this one, because he agrees with us on this. The worst character in Blast of Tempest is Tetsuma.
Tetsuma is the worst character. He's literally a chauffeur. I need to say no more. Let's move on.
No, I think he's got an arrow tattoo on his face. That's one thing about him.
Yeah, Yeah, literally, I love I just want to bring up that I love the Wikipedia article for this because it literally his only is that one of his defining traits on the Wikipedia page is that he has a tattoo of an arrow on his face. Like that's actually one of his defining traits. I think that's hilarious that he's that boring.
Oh my god, you're pointless. Right. Here, I'm going to quote it for those of you who aren't looking right now.
You went to the wiki.
Yeah. Oh, I had the Wikipedia article. Quote: Samon's subordinate and mage. Sorry, Samon's. How do they pronounce it? Samon's subordinate and mage of the Kurosabe clan. He is very smart and believes in the reason of the world. Because of this belief, he has a dislike of Hakaze, who defies reason as she is protected by the Triogenesis. Period. Quote: has a tattoo of an arrow on his face. End quote.
He's that boring of a character, which is funny because the guy who voices him is the same guy who fucking is the same guy who voices Alleluia Hatism in Gundam 00, and I love that character in Gundam. So like I was like, why did they? It's like what the fuck happened? But in any case, he also is the voice of Kimberly in the Japanese version of Brotherhood.
Really?
Apparently.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Okay.
What
happened?
So, and that happened. All right. So, Spencer, what's your favorite character? What's your favorite episode?
My favorite episode is episode 18, The Dancing Princess / the ending of episode 17, Marine Snow, into episode most of 18. Basically, the basic premise of episode 17 is Megumu, which is Harmer's last name, basically destroys branches of the Tree of Genesis to basically do the whole Mage of Exodus. Thank you. I wanted to say something, but yeah, I would go into the tree shit that Adam doesn't like is the names. And basically what happens at the end of it was Akaze, who's trying really hard to keep these feelings that she's developing for Yoshino to herself, she finally breaks down and is like, I love you. And he's like, okay, so about that. And then he tells her about Aika, and a character who was basically told throughout the entire anime to not show emotion, to be the logical person for Mahiro to relax and stay calm, breaks down in tears and finally gets to just let it out. And it's that moment that humanizes the character and makes him more likable. And in the same breath, episode 17, because they find out that Yoshino is dating Aika through one of the funniest scenes in the entire anime, where they're just trying to figure out through logic who Yoshino is dating.
Oh, that was pretty funny. So yeah, Adam, what's your favorite episode?
I had to go to Wikipedia and find the episode list just to figure out the names, but it's the back half of episode 20, which is Who Did It, and the majority of episode 21, which is Femme Fatale. So, Spencer used the term Swerve Town. Spencer, you're wrong. That's the wrong term. I'm going to call it
Swerve City?
It's Swerve
City. And those two, the back half of 20 and majority of 21,
yep,
take us straight into Swerve City. Like, we're on the highway, and we're like, whoa, we missed the exit into Swerve City. So we just turn off anyways and just go over the barriers and just land like upside down in it. So in episode 20, we figure out, 20 and 21 are based around how Aika dies, who's Yoshino's old girlfriend and who is Mahiro's like stepsister or something like that. Something weird like that. But
yeah.
We figure out that Akia is like the prophesized Mage of Exodus, and she's like a full power Mage of Exodus. Not like Hanamura, who's like a bitch Mage of Exodus, but like Aika's like an actual like legit monster of like a magician lady. And then there's a really good fight in 21, and then they figure out basically how she dies. which it's weird. The time travel stuff kind of happens. It's like she died because Hakaze went back in time to tell her that she's going to die. So she's like, "Oh yes, I must kill myself." So, it was a really good twist though, because I was leaning towards it, but it was either going to be Hakaze kills her or she does it herself. So, yeah, that episode's there. Also, a smaller part of 21, but that big ass final boss tree of the Tree of Genesis appears in the ocean. That's when it first appears, and we're like, "Whoa, that's a fucking big tree. That's an absolute
It's a
unit.
really
Look
big
at the
tree.
size of that lad. It's an absolute unit of a tree." That's what I was like when I first saw it.
It's absolute unit. My favorite episode of the show, though, it's a toss-up between episode 12, Amset V from Cilicia While, because that episode was something. But honestly, I have to give it to the finale, to each their own tale.
Yep.
I have to. I can't. It's very rare to me that the last episode is my favorite episode, but goddamn, Blast of Tempest fucking did it. They stuck that fucking landing. They brought out all the stops for the final fight, but I think that what really made the last episode work was not the fight itself, it was everything after the fight. Like, what it wrapped everything up in a way that was like satisfying, but it also like it was something that it left you wanting more, but at the same time you're like, yeah, I'm satisfied. I'm like fully complete. I don't need more. If they never give me more, I'm fine. And the thing I loved about it specifically is the fact that the entire show is building towards, is this going to end in a tragedy? Is this going to end like Shakespeare's comedies? Like, which one is it going to end like? And it's constantly, and the show has this meta struggle, like debating on how this show will end. And in the end, they follow through with the name Tempest, and they end like with an unabashed, full happy ending. Everybody gets what they want. Everyone gets exactly what they want and what they need, and you feel really good after it. You feel like happy. It just you end the series on with the happiest note, and it leaves it doesn't like a lot of shows, they try to end with like bittersweet or it's like a lot of like bad shit. But no, this one's just like, nope, everything. Your life can be like that. I'm so happy for it. Let's see if Shane agrees with us.
I have two to pick from because two specific ones stand out in my mind. But I think in the end I'm gonna have to go with episode 18, The Dancing Princess, because in this episode, it really alters your perspective on Yoshino as a character, because up until this point, he's been really emotionally ambiguous. Like, you can tell he has good intentions, but he never really expresses what he's feeling in like a proper human way. So in this episode, when he's finally forced to come to terms with Aika's death, and he just snaps, and like all of his pent-up emotions just come out in this one burst. I was just sitting there, I'm like, yeah, Yoshino, you cry, boy, you deserve it. You feel those feelings. And it's like, he's clearly not a robot. He was just like penting up all this aggression and sadness inside of him, and then it finally just comes out, and I'm like, this is like a breakthrough for your character. You can finally feel things. And then in the second half, there's that boss-ass action scene between Hakaze and Hanemura, where they're fighting with the tree, and the animation is fucking incredible. And it's just, yeah, that's definitely my favorite episode, just because of that character moment for Yoshino and the boss-ass action scene in the second half.
All right, Shane does not agree with us, but whatever.
Shane's allowed to not agree with us.
Yeah. He's allowed to not. I mean, he's pretty much dead.
I was gonna say he's literally dead.
He's dead. We bring him back from the grave every once in a while just to say something.
It doesn't matter what he thinks.
Yeah.
You know what? He just doesn't like Shakespeare, and he doesn't like happiness.
I mean, I don't like Shakespeare either.
Yeah, exactly.
So your logic kind of falls apart there.
Yes, but you like happiness.
I do like happiness because I don't experience it that often. I am a Toronto Raptors fan, which means I am always sad at every waking moment of the day.
Yeah.
There is some joy in there, but it's usually just LeBron-related depression, and that's it. Let's move on for sports.
We're gonna combine these two sections because I think that will be just easier for us. Is there anything like positive or negative you wish to say about the show? In general, like outside of characters, episodes.
Spencer, go first.
So Spencer, what do you have?
I want to say that of the animes that I've watched, which if I could get into my anime list, because it's still down for maintenance,
LOL,
it's still down.
Rest in piss.
I can show you that, or I can tell you that I've given a lot of animes a lot of scores. This might not be a 10. I'm telling you, it's not a 10. However, this was arguably one of the most happy and joyous endings to an anime I've ever watched. The music was great. The storytelling, the way it was actually told was fantastic. But the ending is what does it for me. Not since FMB Brotherhood have I watched an ending with a smile on my face, because it was just so heartwarming to see everybody happy.
Yeah, can we talk about how good the score is in this damn show for a second? Because I love the soundtrack in this show. This is one of the best anime soundtracks I've listened to in a while, and it makes sense considering who composed it. It was Michiru Oshima, who did work, who's best known for his work on the original Fullmetal Alchemist, which, as we know, when me and Shane covered it back in when we covered it back on early G.A.P, we heavily praised the music there. So, and he also worked on the soundtrack for Twilight Princess. He worked on the soundtrack for Aiko. The guy does fantastic work. But this might be one of his best ones. I love how big it is. I love how it's very classical, but at the same time, it's also very modern. Like, it doesn't. It fits Shakespeare, but it doesn't. It's not afraid to take modern ideas, very modern ideas on how to do soundtracks. The fight scenes are fantastic, even if they are far and few between. The show is. It's an action show, but there's not that much action in it. This is more for people interested. Just be warned that not as much action as you think there is in it. It's very much a talk heavy show. But the action scenes that are there are fantastic. I will say, the tree stuff is dumb.
The tree stuff is
very dumb.
It's really dumb. It's exceptional. Matt's gonna explain it because he knows what he's talking about.
It's easily the worst part of the show is the origins of the trees. So it turns out, and in the show, that the trees are put there by extraterrestrial beings, basically people outside of Earth, as a test for humanity, because humanity's gotten technologically advanced enough. So essentially, the trees are nothing more than basically put there by aliens, and the trees itself, they don't have any motivations. They don't do anything. What do the trees do? They exist. That's what the trees do. They just exist, and they're there, and they just cause problems with people. And I honestly think the show could have benefited from not even trying to explain where the trees come from. They just exist, but no, they spent a little too much time trying to explain where they came from, and I think that's a problem with anime as a whole, is that they try to over-explain everything, but that's another conversation for another time. Spencer, is there anything in particular that pissed you off in the show?
It was just the tree stuff. And even then, I wasn't pissed off, but I would have been incredibly happy had they just been like, trees are here, that's it, done, finish it. Because when you started to explain that, it lost all of its luster and all of its ability to be something kind of interesting when you explain it as aliens. Like, Indiana Jones tried to do it, and it failed. What makes you think you can do it?
There's a lot of reasons why that didn't work there, but
that's
beyond that, but No, but that's another conversation for another time. Adam, there's something? Is there anything else in particular that you liked or pissed you off?
I
or
can
anything
go off
just
about the
random?
names of the trees for a while, but I'll keep it short as I can. The names of the trees are dumb. Like Genesis, the tree of Genesis makes sense because, it's the start. But why would you name the tree of Exodus? The only thing those two books of the Bible have in common is that they're next to each other. Why wouldn't you call the second tree the tree of Revelation? Like, it just makes thematic sense. It works. That's why every anime translator should hire me. I'm the best. No, but besides the tree-related nonsense, the only really aggravating part of the show was, like, obviously the first 7 episodes. They're just so aggressively slow. That's hard to do, but it's not even, like, building up to anything. It's to the point where episode 8 came out of surprise. Like, it's just slow and tedious. It just kind of just like, by episode 5 or 6, I didn't really want to watch the show anymore, which would have been a mistake because I would have missed out on a good show. But that's the big problem with the show that I had, at least. It's just that it takes so long to get going and get good.
But I think is that everything that everyone wants to say about it? Is that I think we pretty much covered all the bases when it comes to Blast of Tempest. All right, and with that, we're gonna give our final scores for the show. Spencer, how about you do the honors and give your score first?
Okay, I'm gonna give Blast of Tempest an 8 out of 10. It is, and I'm gonna give it one of the most firm and solid 8 out of 10s I've given an anime. This anime is great, and if you have not seen this anime, do yourself a favor and watch it, because it's well worth your time. However, with the tree stuff and the beginning being a bit slow and Tetsuma doing nothing, I can't give it anything higher than an 8. However, it's a solid 8, and if one of those was missing, the ending would bump it up to probably an 8.5 to close to a 9.
Alright, that's wonderful. Adam, what is your score?
I give it, a 7 out of 10. Spencer makes a lot of good points, but the show isn't that good. It's a good show. You can't dispute that, but obviously the first 7 episodes, they practically cripple the show from being great. It's so slow and so just tedious that you just want to get it over with. If there wasn't important story-related stuff, I would just suggest skipping the first 7 episodes and starting episode 8, but you can't because, it's the show. But it's a solid 7 out of 10 for me. The fight scenes are great. The animation's great, everything looks great, the music's fantastic. It's just the first 7 episodes, basically, that bring the show down from an 8. So my final score is going to be a strong 7 out of 10. A beefy 7, a thick 7. Thick with 2 C's 7.
Thick. Alright. So let's go to Shane. Back from the grave. For one last time, bringing him back from the grave. Shane, what was your score for Blast of Tempest?
It isn't perfect by any means. There's a lot of stupid bullshit in regards to storytelling at certain points, and I was not a fan of what I felt was the pretentious Shakespeare references. But in the end, I did very much enjoy the show. For having great characters, a well-told story, and some really fantastic presentations. So I'm going to give it an 8 too.
Well, Shane, that's a wonderful, wonderful score that we'll see in that I'm pretty sure that actually most of us agree with. Yeah, I'm giving this a very strong 8. I think that the only thing bringing it down for me, pretty much, is the fact that there's a major tonal discrepancy in the middle, and it's annoying. The show's the gears between the transition between the first half and the second half is sloppy and really messy, and it definitely feels like it does something I find very annoying in shows. It feels like a second half. Like, have you ever watched, like, a show, and you're, like, getting into, like, the second half of it, and it starts to feel like, yeah, this is a second half? That's what this feels like, and it's very, very jarring. But other than that, I pretty much had no significant issues outside the tree stuff. So this is a very strong 8 out of 10 from me. I really, really enjoyed this. And with that, before we get done, it's time to reveal what the next featured anime will be. And the next featured anime will be a series I personally been wanting to cover for a very long time on the show. Ever since we started, and I'm happy to cover it as the second season of it will be premiering, as we're recording this, in 2 days on Adult Swim, and that is the anime classic FLCL, also known as Fooly Cooly. There is literally no excuse for anyone watching this who have not seen Fooly Cooly. It is 6 episodes long, and it's literally take up 2 hours of your time. It's perfect for binging. It's a great show. Definitely go watch it before we cover it. And with that, I think we're pretty much done here. So my name is Legion Rex, aka Matt, and I am your host. With me, I have Spencer.
Yep, that's me.
Yeah, and it's Spencer, and the communist himself, Adam.
Death to capitalism. I don't know what else to say.
Death to capitalism. That's how we end the episode, is just death to capitalism.
Man, if you're a capitalist, don't watch this anime. I mean, also don't watch this anime, but also don't watch this podcast. You know what? Don't watch anything.
Just don't watch anything. If you're a fan of capitalism,
There's
don't support
no ethical
capitalism.
consumption under capitalism besides ass. There you go. We're ending on that.
Ass. And ending on that, I hope everyone is having a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to The Gap. If you like what you've seen, you can subscribe to the G.A.P Podcast YouTube channel to get the latest podcasts as they go live. Be sure to like and comment and let us know what you guys think of the show. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.